Hi everybody, it's Donna from donnasdreamworks.blogspot.com, and today I thought I'd share with you how I make a boutonniere. There are a lot of videos out there showing you how to make flowers, but this is not really a flower, but it is a nice embellishment that you can use in various ways. So these are the items you're going to need in order to make a boutonniere. You need some pattern paper. It can be 2 or 3 different patterns. It does not have to be double-sided, can be single-sided. It's a great way to use up your scraps. A 1-inch hole punch, a crocodile or some other hole punching mechanism, a cutter, a ruler, and a pencil to mark your strips. You'll also need 1 brad and some method of gluing at the end. You can pick whatever method works for you the best. Okay, we're going to start with cutting our strips, and we need 8 strips. I have here pieces of paper that are 7.5 inches long. The other dimension doesn't make any difference. We're just cutting the length. And we're going to cut 8 strips, at a half inch each. So I'm going to cut 4 from each color I have here. And yes, you're absolutely right. You're not looking at the video backwards. I use my cutter backwards. It just is easier for me. I'm left-handed, and it works. Okay, we have 4 of those. And we'll get 4 of these. Okay, and that's all you need the cutter for. And once you have the strips, you can stack them, and I'm just going to try to make them interchanging with each other so that not all of the same color is together. You can use actually more than 2 patterns if you want. Okay, there you go. So you're going to have your strips all lined up together. Important, make sure your ends meet so that when you punch your hole, you haven't gone off the edge of some of your papers. So now you're going to punch 3 holes. You're going to punch 1 on each end and 1 in the middle. So the first thing I'm going to do is take my ruler and give me a measurement of 3 3/4 inches, which is right here, which should be the middle of my strips. Okay? Making sure again that I've got them lined up well. Okay, I'm going to use the 1/8 inch side here. I'm going to punch a hole in the end, punch a hole in the middle, and making sure they're lined up, punch a hole in the other end. Okay, now once you have your 3 holes, it's just a matter of putting a brad through the center hole. Okay? And once the brad is through the center hole, you want to fan out your pieces of paper, trying to get kind of an even distribution between them. You will have some playroom after you're finished, so it doesn't have to be perfect at this point. And after you've got that done, you're just going to start taking your end that has the hole in it and folding it up all the way around onto the brad. And sometimes you have to just rearrange them a little bit as you're going along. Simple, huh? The hardest part is making sure you don't let them fall off the brad while you're folding them up here. Alright, once you have them all on the brad, just going to open it up. And voila, you have a boutonniere. And as I said, you see you do have a little bit of wiggle room. You can kind of just even them off. Alright, now you're going to take your 1-inch circle punch and whatever piece of pattern paper you might want. And you're just going to punch out a circle. And I'm going to use a glue dot, just because it's handy. And I'm going to glue it right over my brad. And there you go. You have a boutonniere. You can use this circle if you have little sentiments that go in circles. You can maybe make a bigger circle and put a sentiment in it. It makes a nice embellishment for a scrapbook page. Perhaps you could put the number 1 or 2 or whatever for a birthday. There's lots of things you can do with this particular treatment. And you can actually mount it either way, whichever is the way you like the looks of it the best. Okay, you can have it with just the brad on the top. There's a lot of different things you can do. This is quite dimensional, as you can see. It's probably not too easy to put on a card for mailing. However, I've got a couple of projects I can show you that don't have to have quite as much dimension. In the first project, I took the same boutonniere and I flattened it down. Okay, and I've just mounted it on a card with a mat that has been embossed with a Cuttlebug Happy Birthday folder and a little couple of pieces of ribbon. It almost looks like an award of some sort, but it would make a nice birthday card. And in this one, what I did with this one, this is a smaller strip, and I offset the center hole just a little bit so that the two ends are not actually equal. And then I kind of grouped the two sections together, and it reminded me of an oriental fan. So that's what I have used it for in this card. I have a couple of geisha girls, I guess that would be what they are, embossed on this cardstock with a frame. And if you looked at my earlier posting today, this is actually the leftover for when I made a mat for one of my cards, but it was such a pretty shape I decided to use it as a frame. And then on the bottom I just wove a little ribbon along the top, so it makes a really pretty card. And that's how you use your scraps to make a boutonniere. Thanks for showing up today, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Bye-bye.